Next is the Commission Regulation 13-06, 2013 Dream Tag Hunt.
Mr. Chairman and Commission, Maureen Hullinger, Nevada Department of Wildlife. The Dream Tags were implemented in 2012 under the authority of NRS 502-219 through 225. As stated in that NRS, we're required to issue one tag for each species that had 50 tags in the previous year. So that's why you see the species listed on the season and table there. The intent for the program was to also have the similar season as the Partnership in Wildlife when it comes to your season dates. So with that, I'll turn it over to Mike for.
I want to make sure. Yeah. So the except for Unit 091 already exists in the PIW season that you just passed. So that would make it mirror. The unit group for the desert bighorn reads, the unit group is not open, or is open except for units where the previous year's harvest of the Dream Tag occurred. And then you'd want to address the excluding the early seasons for the desert bighorn that you removed in the PIW. And the footnote. So there you go.
Okay. Any commission questions? Seeing none, I'll take it out to the public. Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the commission.
Can I give one clarification? I wasn't listening very good on the 091. What are we doing in there?
It is the interstate bull hunt with the state of Utah on the Pilot Peak, Pilot Range. 2 years ago, we actually had 2 PIW hunters harvest there. Utah wasn't really happy with us because we had set a quota of bulls to be harvested, so figured there's no reason to stress our relations with them. And I mean, I was kind of surprised that they went there. I think all of us were, so just thought we'd take it off the table.
Okay, we're leaving that in. Okay, we ready for a motion?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and make a motion to approve CR 1306 2013 Dream Tag Hunts, to accept the recommendation of the department with the exception of, with regard to Nelson Desert Bighorn Sheep Hunt 3500 under season dates, striking the words in bold, excluding October 15th to November 5th seasons in units 161, 184, and 202. And also with regard to the second footnote, to conform that footnote to the same language that we had in the Silver State and what was the other? General 1331? Oh, no, whatever.
3151.
3151, yeah.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a motion by Commissioner Macbeth, second by Commissioner Drew. Any more discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Commission Regulation 13-7, the 2014 Wildlife Heritage Tag season structure and hunting hours limits. In terms of the tags.
Again, NRS 502-250 provides the authority for 15 big game tags to include Silver State, which of course that won't get set till next year. So with this regulation, the department's recommending 9 big game for 2014 and 5 wild turkey, which is what's allowed in that NRS also as a maximum for the wild turkey species. Our vendor packets go out the first Monday in March with a due date in April. So
This year we are recommending a change in the seasons for everything but wild turkey. To have those basically be year-round, beginning on the first day of our license year, March 1, through the following last day of February of the following year.
Okay. The department put that recommendation on there for the season change, and I've heard from the department staff they weren't happy that that was on there. And some of them, it's been a question of where that came from, and that came directly from me when I asked Director Mayer to put that on there as a suggestion. I wanted to throw that out there. Multiple things. Other states do have year-round tags. If you look at Wild Sheep selling a tag, and NBU is going to be selling a sheep tag here coming up, there would be an opportunity for somebody to purchase a tag in a spring event like that, and if they purchase an NBU on a Friday night, if their money clears Monday and Maureen can issue a tag, they can be hunting within a few days. We see success rates on our heritage auction tags pretty much 100%. Nobody's going to spend $50,000 to $100,000 and not harvest an animal, so it really has no biological impact when that occurs. It could also, you know, maybe distribute some pressure off of the bears or the McCulloughs or the premier units. It would give them longer to look around and see different things. The other thing it does is I believe, and I think some others believe, that there's pursuit of our big game in like Lincoln and White Pine County with paragliders looking for bighorns during shed season, and it would be, they're looking for those horns to pick them up, but they're also looking for next year's harvest. And without a season being open, a big game season being open, we don't have the laws to preclude flying that time of year on our elk and our deer. There's been a lot of discussion at the Washoe County Board meeting the other night about, you know, it looks bad hunting 365 days a year on our elk and our deer. We're not going to be hunting them 365 days a year. The deer have dropped, the elk are going to drop their horns. They're not going to be hunted in the times that their horns are down, and they're not going to hunt them too early because they're going to want maximum growth out of those horns also. So with that being said, I don't think it's something that's going to cause more stress on more animals. I believe with additional flying restrictions in some of those counties with the sheds, it could actually reduce stress on our wildlife populations. So that's why I put it in there. I don't know if it's going to go anywhere, but I thought it was more than worth a discussion.
Mr. Chairman and Commission, I just have one comment on the season dates. Just because of our vendors, they have different event dates. I just want to point out that if we do the March 1, there are events that do occur after that, and the tag will be issued, you know, after March 1 because the events are after March 1. So I don't know if you'd get comments back from those hunters or from those groups in that regard. I just wanted to point that out with the way it's written right now, but they won't be you can't hunt if it's not issued. Yeah. So I just want you aware of that.
Along those lines, Maureen, let me ask you about, you know, in trying to keep this and the Silver State Tag program kind of linked and consistent. So the way this would work is next year we would adopt similar language to mirror this for Silver State, but the Silver State Tag wouldn't be drawn till June, right?
Correct.
So essentially that person's missing this window one way or the other.
And that's where the intent as those hunts were established, that was the intent, but that time passes, ideas change, you know, so you would need to consider those things at that time.
Commissioner Rain.
Throw this back out here for a little history lesson on the wildlife heritage and the Silver State. It says brought up in the past, and it's fascinating how people's memories change. But as I brought up about a year ago when I was reading from the minutes of the first meetings, when the Silver State tags came up, every advisory board that commented on the Silver State tag when they were first presented, that made comments, and I believe there were 5, and I read those here approximately a year ago in the minutes after some people had contested my memory. Every advisory board said they would approve the Silver State as long as it took the tags away from Heritage, because that was part of the whole deal. Seems later on, memories changed, and the commission thought it was a wonderful idea with that in mind at the time. Things changed here in the last couple of years, where people seem to have forgotten that, because at the time it was always 9 tags. We had 9 tags, and yeah, they can give us a bunch more. They gave us a wide latitude, but we're not going to use them. Well, you've now got with Silver State the 4 tags, and yes, the dream tags are not included with the 15 in the statutory, but nonetheless, they're there as well. So they are still tags, and they're still out there they still harvest animals, and we're here about trying to maintain a reasonable quantity. Now you've got specialty tags, big game, not excluding turkey, 9 tags before you get to wildlife heritage. Giving 1 of each is plenty sufficient, and it is highly reasonable, and assures that that 1 tag gets a really good amount of money for it. And it's somewhat hard to measure the effects of that. On that particular tag, whether it's going to make a huge amount more money or somewhat more money. But now we are harvesting. We're giving out how many specialty tags? I mean, you guys done the math on that? We're at 18 specialty tags, and of them all, the heritage tags are the ones. Well, I'm not including PIW, of course. Of them, the heritage tags are the ones that give hunters a bad name because they make it the rich man's sport. Silver State's intent, as it was explained, and later after that meeting, I went back and asked the original opponent of it, was I missing something and I just totally forgot? Nah, absolutely correct. The original intent was to take those tags away from wildlife heritage to try to eliminate the bad name that hunters will continue to this day to get as well. It's a rich man's sport, and those tags are just for rich guys, and that's not necessarily a good thing. It's not good for the average sportsman. It is to give an average sportsman a shot at some of those tags, not at an additional pool of the tags. Times change, people's recollections of what they thought was really happening, and politics, of course, I'm sure didn't have anything to do with it. We need to keep these tags reduced. Heritage tag should be a quota of 1 for each of the big game species. Anything else is irresponsible utilization of our big game species. Thank you.
Okay, in response to that, I see a former commissioner, former chairman of the commission sitting in the audience, and I've got a commissioner to my left, Mr. McNinch, that was present during those original discussions, and I would consider the gentleman that brought this idea forward to be one of my best friends. And I can tell you from the get-go, it wasn't about taking away auction tags. It was about giving an ordinary guy the same opportunity as a rich guy, so we don't have a bad name with giving these auction tags out. It was about opportunity for an ordinary guy. It wasn't about taking away from a rich guy. I can tell you that without a doubt. And if you'd like, I can talk to Chad Bliss at the same time.
The museum will be closing in 5 minutes. We'll be closing in 5 minutes.
We better hurry up. The Silver State tag has done exactly what it was supposed to. It has given some ordinary guys the opportunity that a rich guy has. It's been very successful. Better than $600,000 has been brought into this heritage account. It's been overwhelmingly successful. But the heritage account is built on these auction tags also. And these guys, I know a lot of them, and they don't only give the money to the heritage tags, they're giving money all the time to the sportsman groups, to NDL. They're big supporters, and we're definitely getting our money's worth on those tags also. So, any other commissioners have any comments? And I want to take it out to public comment.
Yeah, I'll just echo that. I agree. I don't recall it anything of the sort.
Anybody else have anything? I'll take it out to public comment. Rex?
Rex Flowers, Washoe County Cab. As Jack alluded to, we are not in favor of a year-round hunt. We believe this. Now I'll go back to what others have said. It's a sociological issue. It's the perception that we're hunting, even if we're not. Therefore, we would recommend that we keep it the same as it's been, have next year's heritage tag mirror this year's Silver State tag. And with that being said, I have a member of the public who's been talking to me about these specialty tags and selling them. And he's a member of an NGO and has been involved in marketing this past year. And he feels, and I can see where he's coming from, he feels that if we were to put specific days or dates on them, instead of saying that next year it's going to be the Saturday preceding the earliest opener, we know approximately when that's going to be. And if we would just say it's going to be June 7th, that when they're out marketing a tag, and they go to these people and these people have an interest, the people know exactly what they're working on. The people who are being asked if they have an interest in buying these tags will know exactly what the dates are. And he feels it would be helpful because they've been asked many times, well, when does your hunt occur? It's going to be the Saturday before the earliest opener. When is that? We don't know. Might be about this time. So it would add value to it. And being from a sales background, it's always nice to have everything in your toolbox before you go to the street. So, thank you.
Thank you. Any other cabs? Mr. Bentley, what do you have to say?
Clint Bentley, Henderson, Nevada. I would like to applaud the proposed language changes and time and season time frames. It's not a biological change whatsoever. All of these tags are filled every year. However, and the year-round hunting is nothing new. Arizona's been doing it with their super raffles for years now. I believe that it will give us the opportunity to possibly increase the incomes into our heritage fund, which we always need as much as we can get to do all the heritage projects that are out there, and they're all worthy projects. And I'm glad to see this, and I would recommend that you approve it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment or cab comment? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the commission for just Commissioner Rain.
Thank you. If it would be acceptable to our Deputy Director, would it be possible for it to be included with the minutes of this meeting, the portion of the minutes of the first meeting at which county advisor boards were allowed to give comment on the Silver State tag to be included along with these minutes of this meeting today?
The museum is now closed.
At the next meeting, as a request to administration, is that all right with you? Because it appears that maybe the version I had was something I typed up in my living room, so, you know, that seems to be called into question. Thank you. Would appreciate it.
Okay.
Substantiate these things.
Any other commission comments? Commissioner Drew?
The only one I have, and maybe it's just a personal thing, for some reason the year-round just doesn't sit real well with me personally. I have a lesser concern with, making sure we keep the Silver State tag the same. I've got some concerns that a lot of the auctions that these get sold in happen after March 1st. I might be more inclined to look at something like a July 1 start date on some of this. but that's just me personally. I mean, it's not, like I said, it's just one viewpoint.
July, and a July 1 start date with a February 28th end date doesn't cover our shed season, and that's what I'm after.
I understand that, and I also think that at some point we'll be looking at regulations that specifically include sheds.
Commissioner McNitch.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm in the same boat. When we were talking about, and this has been a long time ago, going year-round with the mountain lion season, I didn't support that effort either for a lot of different reasons, and I understand. I guess I'm a little less worried about the biological impact, but I think that there's a point where sociologically there needs to be a break, and maybe I'm just a little more comfortable with sticking with the traditional time frames. I already was concerned with the lion stuff. I understand what you're getting at with the open season, but you have one with big game. It'd be pretty easy to modify that. I think it was modified out so that the regulation stipulated that there's no flying at any open big game season except, and so I think there's an opportunity to take care of that right there in that sense. But I'm not 100% comfortable with this, and my suggestion would be, maybe this is something that needs to be part of the TAC committee where it's discussed and worked through a little bit more. That's just a thought.
Commissioner Lane.
I would agree with both of the commissioners. I guess I have some issues with this as well, and I guess my question is, how are the numbers determined? Does it change on a yearly basis for these, or is it in statute in terms of the numbers?
I'm sorry.
The total is 15 by statute, I believe.
Maximum.
Yeah.
Maximum.
And we've never, Commissioner Macbeth?
Yeah, I'm kind of uncomfortable about this year-round as well, and I also think it's going to create some confusion because we're going to have it's either a statute or regulation with regard to flying that's going to indicate, that you can't fly during any open season, and it kind of assumes that there's a closed season at some point, and so that I would rather have a direct, a direct regulation that deals with the flying, and not have, any ambiguity there, and I would definitely support that. I don't like the idea of the flying, and so, but I guess I'm less concerned maybe about the sheep, but when it comes to deer, antelope, and elk, I think we need to have a break. I don't know. It's just there's something about this that bothers me.
Anybody else? Commissioner Ring.
On the subject of the dates, I believe from hearing from testimony from the public, I believe that the sentiments, like Mr. Bentley stated, that the marketing aspects of this, as the other gentleman was stating, are high. Biological ramifications are negligible or less from that, considering all the things that Mr. Chairman stated himself earlier about the deer, which of course applies to deer and elk, and of course pronghorn. So therefore, I believe the dates as presented by the department are reasonable. Thank you.
Any other commission comments? Before I ask for a motion, any other public comment? Corey?
Real quick, if we're not going to go 365 on this, I'd really like to see the shift to something like June 1. We're going to break it at 11 months or 10 months, start June 1 instead of the first season preceding, or the first Saturday preceding.
Okay. Anybody else have anything? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the commission.
Just one more more question for Maureen. When's the draw again?
Usually the end of May, beginning of June.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. I'll try it. I would make a motion to approve CR 13-07 for the 2014 Wildlife Heritage Tags as presented by the department with the following changes. I think we have one housekeeping item on wild turkey. Our hunt hours, 1 o'clock, or is that changed to 4 o'clock? For the regular season, I believe it's.
I'd have to look it up.
So I would just say to make sure that we, the hours match the general season for turkey. Seasons for mule deer, pronghorn, antelope, Rocky Mountain elk, Nelson bighorn sheep, California bighorn sheep be July 1, 2014 through the last day of February of the following year. July 1. That our note on desert bighorn sheep that says except for unit 252 also include units
280, 281, 282.
280, 281, 282. And that we update our footnote under item number 4 for special regulations to reflect the motion that was previously made for the general Nelson seasons.
I'll second that.
We have a motion by Commissioner Drew, a second by Commissioner Young. Any further discussion? Commissioner McNinch?
Thank you. I think the July 1st is better. If it's got to go year round, I still just have that gut feeling that I'm not quite comfortable with it right now, and so I won't support the motion. But I do think that July 1st is much better than the February, and I understand if this thing passes, and I think that's where I'm at with it still. So.
Any other discussion? Commissioner Rain?
Problems quota, got way too many tags, should be 1-1, 1-1, 1, and 5 turkey. That's a bad deal for our game animals. Thank you.
And I want to make it very clear that my vote, if I vote against this, will have nothing to do with the quota. I do agree that the quotas are where they need to be.
Stack them deep.
Okay. Any other discussion? Ms. Lane?
I continue to have the same concerns that Commissioner McNinch has, but I also have concerns about the quota as well. So I will not be opposed to the
Okay. Any other comment? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed?
Nay.
Okay, so it's 6-3. The nays are McNinch, Lane, and Rain.